a mess. I feel very much like a mess. I just finished an English assignment. Well, I turned it in late. I didn't finish an English assignment. I finished a film assignment. I had to film a short film and I animated all of it. And God, it was just really difficult to get under the time crunch. And then the last minute I was like, oh, I'll have dinner and like go get myself a slice of cake for working so hard. But I mean, that 40, 50 hour 15, whatever it was, whatever amount of time I took to go eat dinner and go have fun, I shouldn't have done it, because then I ran out of time for like choosing the music, uploading it, exporting it, and that took hours. And I mean, I think I could have done everything sooner, before midnight, and I ended up turning it in at like 7 in the morning because I was waiting for the video to upload on YouTube. But after 2:30 I said bed, sleepy times. I tried, I really did. But I also have a disability paper that I give to my teachers, and that will probably be what will get me to not be tardy. But I mean, it will be what I won't get marked late because of that paper. But anyway, just wanted to mention that beforehand because I'm a little bit frazzled. But I had something I wanted to talk about, and Conan can be in this. Let me go grab him. Conan is my bird. Conan is my parrot. Currently he's eating breakfast. He's so mad at me because I fed him at 12:30. Anyway, I just wanted to talk and say that our experience with him getting lost outside, him getting lost outside, him flying away from me. A video from Bird Tricks just came out about what to do when your parrot flies away, and I just thought it was a really good video, and I really wanted to just put in my own little 2 cents. Conan is not my first parrot, but he's also one of my first successful attempts at having a pet parrot. And it takes a lot of responsibility, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of presence, it takes a lot of money, and I finally have the opportunity to do all those things. And also just like, he's just a very resilient bird. If you don't know, he got attacked by a hawk in January. That's what I mean. Like, and he had a respiratory infection when I got him. Like, he's a resilient guy. He's doing it. He's doing the damn thing. With all of my birds, I've always been someone that likes to take them out on walks. Or like when I was younger, back when I didn't really understand free flight. I mean, I didn't really have my parrots long enough for them to even grow out their wings. Like, that's what I mean when I say that I had very unsuccessful journeys with parrots. But I would have a parrot. I always had green Jay conures, for example, and I would have them stand on my shoulder while I'd bike around the neighborhoods. And like, I'd never do that now. I would never do that with Conan, especially because like, he's free flighting and like, he'd fly into a tree, and it's just, after that hawk incident, like, he's not going outside without like a cage or a harness or a carrier, but probably not a harness because he absolutely hates it, and I'm so bad at training him how to use it. Anyway, where am I going with this? In the beginning of me having Conan, I didn't know any better of like him flying away. At least, well, let me explain. When I first got him, I just started walking around with him like I did with every other parrot that I'd had before, and his feathers started growing in, and I was doing it anyway because for a while he was just sitting there and just enjoying my company. And all of a sudden one day he's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna fly away now. And he flew into a tree. I think it started with my fig tree in my backyard. Then it later progressed into like him flying into my neighbor's tree, which is much taller and much harder to climb. And luckily those neighbors are never home, so I just brought a ladder from across the street, propped it up to that tree, and then climbed the tree to get him out. And I had to like target train him to like the bottom of the tree, or like like he was at the very tippy top of the tree, and I needed to get him to like the top of the stump. So rather be in the branches, he needed to get to the stump, and I target trained him down there. One time I was going to a family friend's house and I was walking to get dinner, and I brought Conan with me because I was like, you know, even if he flies away, maybe he just won't this time. Even though that's such flawed logic, I didn't really care. I was like, well, I don't have a harness at the time, and I don't believe in them, and I just want to walk around with my bird, and I should be allowed to do that. And he flew into this one rando's tree, like a very large, gorgeous tree. I think the tree's gone now, actually, which is crazy. I don't know. But anyway, those people were very nice, and like they got me a ladder. They got me PVC pipes that were like 10 feet tall, and I poked him out of the tree with the PVC pipe. There's so many different stories. Like we went on a hike and he flew into a tree on a hike, and luckily it was a spot where I could like climb up the tree halfway and then I could target train him down. Like, I have so much experience with him flying in trees. So much so that it's embarrassing because I should have figured it out sooner. Like, Juliana, just don't take him on hikes. Or Juliana, just put him in a backpack. Or Juliana, train him to use a harness. Like, just do anything else. I'm still not doing that. I'm just not going outside anymore, which is not really a solution. But regardless, I just thought it would be something to refer to, because when I started noticing that he was going to be flying away from me pretty regularly, and when I came to the conclusion that I didn't care if he flew away from me, like, I really was considering getting flight training lessons from Bird Tricks. But here's the thing, I do not have $6,000 to give Bird Tricks right now. I've got school. I don't have my own expendable funds in that sense. So it's not for me. It's not something I can do. It's not for me. And we're watching this movie with, I think, like, Lois Weber. Apparently sounds very cool. She sounds like someone I should say is my icon in like an interview one day. Like, who's your icon? Oh, Lois Weber. Anyway, I don't really know. I'm just enjoying class right now. Anyway, because I couldn't afford Bird Tricks flight training courses, I was like, okay, I'll just flight train it myself, especially because I have all this free time to do it. And I got somewhat far. Like, he can recall, but I mean, like, it's been a really unresponsive journey. Like, he's just pretty fickle with me. Even if I have treats, like, sometimes he just doesn't want to leave a tree because he loves the tree and he wants to hang out in the tree, and I just have to respect that. And I mean, like, it's been pretty bad. Like, most of the time he'll stay in the tree for like 5, 10, 15 minutes. And the 15-minute mark, I'm like, oh, let's just go home. I'm over it. I'm done waiting for you. I am done just standing here. We're supposed to be out because we're supposed to go on a hike. We're supposed to go on a walk. If you just stay in a tree for 10, 15 minutes, what's the point of the hike? The sun's going down. Head. Where's my head at? It's just trying to think. Because I have all this experience, and because he was so fickle, and because I didn't care, like, that's just the way things went. And I mean, that bit me in the ass. I don't recommend it. I mean, he was chased by a hawk. It was horrifying. It's never gonna happen again. That's how traumatizing it was. I mean, there was just one time I went to a girlfriend's house and he flew all the way down the block. There was this nice little, like, opening between this entire block's worth of redwood trees. He just flies right through, and then he darts to the right, and he goes down a block and down another block to the right where I obviously can't see him. And I was like, Annika, he flew away. Well, I didn't cry, but I was like, he flew away again. Like, dead inside a little. Just, I sound dead inside is what I mean. And you just look for him down the block. Then you go down the street to the right, and then you're like, well, I can't find him. Let's just go back to where we all started with this because it's not sundown yet. And then you wait 3 hours, and he's just hopping from redwood tree to redwood tree to redwood tree to redwood tree. He's just going everywhere. And you're like, okay, it's winter. It's 5:15. The sun's down. And you have to go ask your friend's neighbors to turn the porch light on so Conan can see you while you're down at the floor, and so he can, like, majestically fly himself all the way down. I mean, with a lot of courage, because he doesn't have good eyesight at night. Parrots don't have eyesight that their eyesight's like ours in a sense, just that they're not nocturnal. If that makes sense. Anyway, I have a lot of experience with Conan going in trees and just being a menace and almost getting himself hurt, like a lot. Like one time he got chased by like robins. I don't know. They were red. Cardinals? I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think cardinals live in California. But anyway, it's just, what are you gonna do? You're gonna not take him outside, or you're gonna take him outside in a carrier, or you're gonna take him outside in a harness. Sooner or later, I'm gonna force that motherfucker to put on a harness. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna brainwash him. Mark my words, I'm gonna brainwash him into liking being in a harness so he can take him on hikes, because like I really miss going on hikes with him, and I can't do it anymore. And if I do it, like he starts plucking at his chest and I hate it. But yeah, that I thought I would mention for anyone who's considering being silly like I was and walking all around everywhere. You're probably gonna go through a journey similar to mine, or I mean, your parrot, you could be much different than me. It's just, I'm just here to give my personal experience because that's all I have. And I tell everyone, just I really want everyone to be really cautious. And Conan was really lucky because the hawk that attacked him was a baby. I mean, for sure. So please be careful. What I do now is that he doesn't go outside anymore unless it's in a harness or in a cage. We have not really an aviary, but we have a cage outside. It's about the size of this cage in our bedroom. It's like a little smaller, but like it's like narrower, but still the same height and still the same width. Or like the front and back are narrower, and it's a good cage and it rolls and it's nice. And I don't know. It could be bigger. I mean, both of the cages could be bigger. That's something for another time. What am I trying to say here? He does go outside. He does get his sunlight. He's got little like sun spots underneath his eyelids. I don't know how frequent that is for other parrots, but he gets it every spring and summer, and it goes away in the winter, at least as far as I can tell. If that happens to anyone else, like, please let me know. I know Ponzu Cool Cat, oh god, is Ponzu the cat that passed away? They have a sun conure, and their sun conure gets a little bit of black spots under their eye when they're in the sun, just like Conan. Conan gets it pretty bad. I don't know if that's like super frequent. I know that wild birds get that really bad, but I hope that this was helpful. I'm gonna go back to class. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful or you want to talk about it more, please, I'd love to hear some questions. I mean, it's a pretty scary thing it's not a scary thing until it becomes scary. And I want to make that, I just want to exemplify that statement. It's not scary to take your parrot out on a walk until it is scary. In March of last year, 2020, Conan just fell. In March of 2020 last year, the month that Corby died, my green cheek conure, the month that he died, one of my coworkers had a green cheek conure too, and he flew away and he disappeared. And he was like, "You take your conure on walks? That's crazy. My conure just flew away and never came back." And then I got Conan a week after. A week, ladies and gentlemen. 7 days. I tell that to my coworker who had the conure, and he was like, "Oh, well, be careful." It took me so long to figure out what I was trying to remember what he said. He was like, "Be careful, because my conure flew away." Or my brother's conure flew away. And I was like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna do it anyway. And to anyone who's in that mentality, I really think that because I'm who I am, I have to do things until I get in trouble, and then I stop doing them, which is why I'm always like, I think I'm gonna get canceled someday. Like, it's always been the way I've worked, and it's like such a bad habit of mine, or just such a bad fundamental part of myself. Like, you just have to keep doing things until like someone tells you, stop, don't do that. Like, I need people to do that for me, and I take it seriously, and I probably shouldn't all the time, but I do. And let me just be honest,